fabric of our program than anybody, because they've seen us win 2 games in the SEC, and they've seen us win the regular season SEC championship. So it's an exciting time, and hopefully we can continue to make them proud, and they'll continue to come in and watch us play, and hopefully one day sell the Colonial Life Arena out.
Don, you're picked to win.
You picked to win the SEC again.
I hope you guys are right for once in the 6 years that I've been here at South Carolina. But I mean, our players have done some tremendous things at South Carolina. We've competed and we've won a lot of games in this league over the past couple of years, and this is what we want. We want to be one of the best teams in this league, because that means that you're one of the best teams in the country. And if we want to, take it to another level, we have to continue to win SEC championships.
Don, not to take away from what Tiffany did last year, and she's voted preseason player of the year this year, but how much is Welch also a candidate for that award last year and this year?
I think everybody knows the type of player Tiffany Mitchell is, and Tiffany Mitchell doesn't become our conference player of the year just from her play. I think she's got a lot of weapons beside her that have played an integral role in our success. And Lisa Welch is one of them. She's probably the one that flies under the radar somewhat because she's so unselfish. She's our utility player anytime that we need something, a big bucket, a big rebound. She's always been there. And, it's unfortunate that, they couldn't share the award because she's been, making big plays for us. If you look at the games in which we probably lost, Lisa Welch has probably had a double-double in those games. So, I'm glad it's an award that stayed at home and it didn't get outside of our program.
You talked about taking this program to the next level. Looking back, I know the disappointing finish, lost to Tennessee at the end of the regular season. What does this team need to do? What are the steps you're taking now? You have the talent, it's all there, the pieces are there. What do you need to do to get to that next level?
Well, I think that the talent helps tremendously. I think the core players that we're returning have been there, have experienced that. They know what it takes to get to the next level. Now they have to, bottle that up and give it to our youth, because, when you get to Sweet 16 level, those teams have levels of talent, that if someone has an off night, that someone else is stepping up and making big shots. So we check that off by signing one of the best classes, in the history of South Carolina and in the country. So, hopefully we can speed them up to where it creates a team in which we're hard to guard, we're hard to scout, we're hard to, we're able to make plays when we need to make plays.
Don, speaking of that class, how much is Bianca pushing Khadijah Sessions at the point, especially when Khadijah didn't end last year like she wanted to?
I think Khadijah feels her, Bianca's presence, but at that position is really, 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 really hard to come in and run a program. I think Khadijah's great for Bianca because she can teach her some of the intangibles. I think by far Bianca, has an incredible ability to score the ball. She can shoot it from long range. She can get into the paint and shoot floaters. She can find the open player. It's just knowing when and where to do that in a particular game, and that's what she's figuring out, and Khadijah's helping her along the way.
Don, last night you were talking about where you came from a little bit to the fans. Is it kind of surreal to be here at this event this year, as the favorite in the league?
Yeah, it is, because we've, it's all so very new to us, but, we got to look at the work that we've put in, and we put ourselves in this situation, and, we'll have to face the music that got us here, and we're not going to shy away from it. I think, we want to be We want to be national championship team. In order for you to do that, these are steps that we're taking to become that.
Coach, so many great players. How do you kind of manage, these guys have been stars, Nick Donald All-American, as far as playing time? How do you manage that?
I don't know, actually. We're trying to simulate games and situations in practice where we'll put out a different five. We won't put out, the returning starters every time on the floor. We'll put the returning starters, some of them, in the position of having to sit and watch. And we're simulating it could be very much like this in a game. We're always communicating with our players about our theme, which is one like mind, one team, and obviously our team chemistry, all of that's going to be challenged in ways in which it hasn't been challenged in years, but they all committed to it. They all had a part in recruiting the players that are here, the recruits, meaning our incoming freshmen. They all knew who was returning. So they all made a commitment to come and make this year truly special. How they'll handle that, only time will tell.
You curious to see how this team handles being picked to win the whole thing and all these other SEC teams when you guys come into their buildings? Or when they come into yours, they're gonna give it their best shot?
They are, I think they expect that. When they expect, having to play your best night in and night out, I hope they rise to the challenge. They'll be prepared to win every single game, and we have to do that as a cohesive unit.
Coach, when you've got that bullseye on your back as a team, how important is it to have that veteran leadership coming back to kind of guide those younger players?
I mean, we don't get where we are without leaders. So Lisa, Ellen, and now Tiffany Mitchell and Asia Dozier, they're all put in positions where we're gonna go as far as they take us. And that's tangible and intangible. Because some of them may be in a position where they may not be on the floor at a crucial moment, and it should eat at them just as a competitor. But also they have to trust. The same with the youngsters. They have to trust that our coaching staff knows what we're doing, and we're going to put them in positions to only be successful. So sometimes that's sitting and watching.
Dawn, back when you were playing, you thinking about the Final Four, you knew that probably Tennessee was going to be the one getting there and coming out of the SEC. That's not the case in this league anymore. It's a pretty deep, challenging league. Could you talk about just the competitiveness that even since you've stepped in the league, how much this has grown over the years?
6 years ago, I chose to come to South Carolina because of the grind of the SEC. And the first year, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. But the pull on your competitiveness, it makes you a better coach. It makes you figure out how to be successful, in this meat grind, because there isn't a conference in the country that's challenged like we are night in and night out. Not a conference in the country. So for us, it's great coaching, it's great players, it's great competition, and if you can survive our conference, you're gonna put yourself in a position to make some noise nationally, and that's not just one team. It's a number of teams. We had 8 teams in the NCAA tournament, and 13 out of the 14 in some kind of postseason play. So I don't know if there's another conference that can say that.
Coach, how much do you and Coach Martin communicate? The reason I'm saying that is you came in and took over this program, was a little bit the Doggers, you built it up to be a championship program. He's kind of going through the same thing right now. You guys communicate about that?
We don't communicate a whole lot. I try to reach out to Frank when I feel like he was in a similar situation as I was, in my second and third years, because I didn't really have anybody to, it was all new to me, and it's all new to him, going through the process of building a program. And, I think you think as a coach, you think you will never go through that because you think you're such a great coach that you can control it. But if you don't have talent, you can't control it. No matter, you can't outwork people, and win basketball games in this league. You can't. You have to out-talent people. And until you're able to, fill your roster with a lot of talent, like other programs have layers of talent, you're going to find yourself just, scratching and clawing for wins. So don't do it a whole lot because, he'll find his way. He's going to be very, very successful. It's just the process has to run its course.
Coach, with both Mitchell and now White coming to Providence Day, can you talk a little bit about your ability to recruit the Carolinas and specifically Charlotte with your Charlotte connections?
Well, yeah, I think it's hard work. Number one, I think Jatari, we just put in a lot of time with the two of them. Tiff pretty much knew what she wanted to do, and with Jatari, we built a strong relationship with her parents. With Josh, her high school coach, and we just worked it. There's nobody, across the country can drive 90 miles and be in her backyard, the 7 times that we could see her during her recruiting process. So there's nobody's going to spend as much time because of the proximity of it. And we just built a relationship to where Jatari, we put her in a position where we didn't want her to tell us no. And it's worked out. It's worked out for us.
How has she transitioned into practicing with the team with the existing relationship?
It's hard. It's hard for any freshman to come in and feel good every day. We don't want that to happen because they'll get a false sense of what it's like. So she has great days, she has average days, and she has bad days. And, her process is figuring out how to maintain and not get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. Just maintain. And, as we get closer and she gets more practices under her belt, she looks good. Each day she's getting better and better.
Your schedule has, I believe it was 9 teams that finished in the top 25 of the rankings last season. Could you talk about how tough schedule is going to prepare you for the NCAA tournament this season?
We've been trying to beef up our schedule, for the past couple of years, and it's hard scheduling. Most of the top conferences they play an 18 conference game schedule, so they don't really want to play, stiff competition outside of that. So, fortunately, we were able to schedule a home and home with UConn, and then Duke. After a lot of conversations, we were able to secure a home and home with them, and then some other ones. Like Central Michigan. We're playing them in the Minnesota tournament and the Bahamas tournament. So for us, we're just trying to, prep us for conference play, not postseason. We got to prep for our conference. You can't go in and play, mediocre teams and think you're going to prepare yourself for our conference. So we wanted to beef up a little bit, just so we can get used to the rigors of our conference.